Hello guys, this is Khaled and I'll be demonstrating both the physical part and the Python code for our project. So we have the Raspberry Pi 3B Plus here and the microphone that we'll be using, the GPIO pins connected to all of the other systems. We have the fan, which is a DC motor, a PIR sensor. It's a motion sensor, which is like passive infrared sensor. We have LED for the lighting system that we have connected to the LDR here. Let me show you. So this is the LDR. We have a buzzer connected to the security system, and we have the thermostat sensor. It's like a pin, very small. Okay, and this is the TV that's connected to the Raspberry Pi. We have three systems controlling the whole circuit. The temperature, security, and control. Let me show you how this works. So this is our website. It's right here. As you can see, opening it through my phone. And let's check this out. Here. So the temperature of the room is, I don't know if you can see it, but it's 25.2 Celsius. So we are basically telling the system that we want the temperature to be less than this. So if we make it like 22, the fan should start working. There we go. Okay, sometimes it just needs a little push. There we go. Okay, you can turn it off from here, or you can change the temperature. So temperature is 25, make it 22, and now it turns on. If I make it like 30 and press auto, it stops. You can press on to turn it on or off to turn it off. Like, it overrides whatever you have in here. So moving on to the light section, this is the LED. When we press here, when we press on, the LED turns on. When we press off, the LED is off. When we press auto, look what happens here. So this is the LDR, light dependent resistor. So when I put my hand on it, it's like there's dark there, so the light would be on. When I move my hand, there will be light, and the light would be off from the LED. And finally, the security system here. So the system is disabled. It's really annoying when it's on. Let me show you what happens when it's on. I just turned it on. So here it says that intruder detected, which is me, because it can see me. And the buzzer is going off, but you can't hear it. Let me fix this. There you go. Okay, and when I move away from it, it turns off. And it says here, it will always say intruder detected, because there was somebody here. Unless you turn it off, it will say the system is disabled. But when you turn it back on, it will say this house is safe until something happens. Like me, it will be saying intruder detected. Okay, let's turn it off for now. And here we have the record option. So it records 20 seconds of what's going on here, and it uploads it to a file that we can listen to it later. So let's check this out. I press 20 seconds. Now I can record whatever is happening here. Hello, 1, 2, 3. Let's try to listen to that. Okay, so to use this feature, you need to refresh the web page. Now I can record whatever is happening here. Hello, 1, 2, 3. And there we go. Now we move to the Python code. So this is the Python code that we use for our function, for our project. We have three functions. Each of them is separated from the other one. We use this method so it's easier for us to get gotchas and fix them. Also, it's faster for the processing power because the temperature file takes a long time for processing. So we won't need to wait for the processor to compile the temperature function and then start with the other functions. No, they all will be working together at the same time. This is a lot easier and faster. First of all, here I declared names for the GPIO pins that we will be using. This is easier for us to work with. Instead of memorizing the numbers, we just know what we're talking about. And here we imported the libraries that we're going to be using for the code. In the setup function, we declared what pins are inputs, what pins are outputs. And in the light function, we get a variable, we call it overwrite. So this is whatever is written in the text file that comes from the PHP. If it's auto, then we would see what's the input from the LDR. If there's no light from the LDR, then let's turn on the lights. If if there's no light, if it's dark in the room, then the LED would be on. If it's not, then the LED would be off. If it's lighted the room. So here, if the override is on, then we don't need the arrow, and we will turn on the LED. If it's not, then it's definitely off, and the LED would be off. Here is the function for the fan. We have two variables here. So we have two files. They would tell us what to do with the fan. So the override is either on, off, or the whatever temperature is written on the box. The average is the room's temperature at the moment, because we're going to be comparing this with the temperature that the user is choosing to have in his room. So if it's on, the fan's going to be on. Off, the fan's going to be off. Same thing as the LDR. If it's not, then it's a number, and the number is going to be converted, because whatever we get from the text file, it's going to be a string. We need to convert it to an integer, and we compare it with the average, with the room temperature that we have. So if the room temperature is more than what is the user requiring or requesting, we turn on the fan. Otherwise, the fan's going to be off. So moving to the mic function, we get this variable as this variable is whatever written inside mic.txt. So when you press on the button that has 20 seconds inside of it, once you press on that button, the PHP is going to write on a file named mic.txt. Now here we check if it's on, then open and close the file. This is going to clear whatever is inside of that file. So it's not going to be always recording now. And then we're going to be calling a script that is going to be applied on the terminal. So it's .sh. This script is going to be recording whatever is going on using the microphone, and then it's going to save it as a file. Here is the main, here where the whole software starts with. So we call the setup and we start from this while loop. It's always going to be true, so it's always going to be looping here. We open the files, the text files that we're getting from the PHP code. We put whatever inside of them in variables to use them later. So here, if we have like one of this, actually the temperature sensor works very slow. So sometimes there would be nothing in the file. If we have this issue, then just continue. Do the loop one more time until you have something here. So when everything is filled, we're gonna go to this um, small code. So this code is to convert the temperature that we have uh, into float, because it takes from the temperature file, it takes the whole temperature that we have. We have either Celsius or Fahrenheit. So we take the Celsius temperature, converts it to float to use it later with the fan here, with the fan control. This is for the box that we write what the user's temperature is required for. Here we close the files and we call the functions here. Now we go to the security function. Again, we import whatever libraries we need. We declare the names for the pins, and starting with the setup, put whatever pins we want for output, others for input. The PIR sensor, it has two variables, the setting and the status. So the setting is supposed to be on, off, and the status is going to be like, is the house is safe, intruder detected, or system is disabled. If the settings are on, if the PHP is sending us code to the file, the text file that we have, and if there is on inside of it, then if if the PIR detects something, it will turn on the buzzer and will say that there's an intruder here. If it detects nothing, then the house is safe and we have nothing to worry about. If the file is saying off, so everything's going to be off, the buzzer is going to be off, and the system is going to be disabled. Here we just call the text files and put whatever inside of them in variables, closing the files, and then we are using these files, whatever inside the contents of these files, to be sent here to the function. And now going to the temperature function, we have again declared names for the pins. We are using the math library here because we're going to be using a lot of math in here. Starting with the setup and then going to the function